Oh, this is not gonna work. Hello. Can you guys hear me okay? Okay. I have my phone with me just in case somebody sends me a text. Oh my gosh, today's been, there's Harvey. If you guys don't know Harvey, he is the light of my life. He is the love of my life. And that dog has gotten me through a lot, a lot. I'm going to give people a few minutes just to kind of trickle in. If you're running late, if you know somebody that wants to join, they can literally, there he goes. You guys can literally join in at any time. This blue light is very bright. So again, I'm just going to give people time to trickle in. Oh gosh, that glare is really bright. All right, forget that. That's not going to work. Okay. Today's a very heavy topic. Let's start off by telling me, who are you here for? I'm going to type in who I am here for. And if you don't want to type the person that you're here for, that's totally fine. This is a space that those of us that have lost somebody, and again, grief doesn't necessarily have to mean that you lost somebody. It could mean maybe you're going through a separation, difficulty with a child relationship. Maybe you've moved away from your family. There's grief can just mean many things. Maybe you've lost a pet. Pets are a massive part of our family and just really big parts of us, and that's really tough. Somebody put their mom, okay. And I am just gonna pray over us really quickly. I am a believer. God is how I am sitting here today and talking about this. Whatever your belief is, let's just take a few minutes. I won't pray too long, but let's just bow our heads in prayer. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for the air in our lungs. Thank you for the opportunity to give everyone who has lost somebody a safe space where they feel seen and heard. God, the pain of losing a parent, a child, a friend, a loved one is, it feels like we're being swallowed, but somehow, some way you carry us through. For all of the family members that are in heaven, we love you so much. We miss you every single day, every single minute. We know that you are with us, that you're guiding us. And we just have a beautiful time together. I pray for each family that's represented here. I pray for each individual that's represented here, Lord. May they just be blessed during our time together. And thank you for your constant love. Amen. All right. Okay, let me just make sure people are okay. Let's see. Okay. All right, so let's rip up the Band-Aid, shall we? So how did I even come to talk about grief? I have a piece of my dad with me at all times. The picture that was on the cover, that's my dad. Loving life was his mantra for life. It was his saying, and he died 10 months ago. Can't believe it's going to be a year. His death was unexpected. We thought he really was going to turn, he was doing better. And then all of a sudden, he just wasn't. We were with him when he died. We had to sign A&D papers, like do not resuscitate. And that was the worst moment of my life. There's just really kind of just no words. When that, I don't know where everybody's at in their grief journey. Maybe for you, it's been a couple of weeks in those early heavy months. Maybe you have compound grief. So compound grief is losing loved ones back to back. In our family personally, my mother-in-law passed away um, 5 years ago, I think. And then 2 months after she passed away, my grandmother passed away. Then I think a year or two later, my grandfather passed away. So my mom's parents, my dad's parents have been deceased for a while, many years. And then after my grandfather passed away, my dad passed away again 10 months ago. And then 2 months after my dad passed away, my uncle passed away. So the biggest hits, obviously, was my mother-in-law. My children were very close to her, and my dad. Um, a little bit about me. If you guys don't know me much, I'm so sorry. I'm Christina. I am the proud founder of my practice called Cheers to Health. I'm a holistic health practitioner, and now going through grief and loss. What does that look like? I've been a nurse for almost 20 years. I have 2 kids, about 50 chickens, 15 ducks, and a dog, and I'm married. Um, I usually, if you guys have been to my master classes, they are pretty organized. This I completely decided to do last minute. I had a calendar of all the topics I wanted to cover, and God just really put it on my heart to talk about grief this month. So that is why I'm talking about it. I usually have a presentation. This is just flowing very organically. I don't have an agenda. I am here to be a vessel to touch on things that people don't talk about. And I really am on a mission to, my mission is to normalize grief, give people a space to be in your pain, but also helping people break free from that. And the vision is to, like, us grievers are able to then love life eventually, with a lot of work. So the mission I have is very big, and it's very difficult because you get very stuck. You're very stuck in grief. And let's talk about the early days. Um, you're numb. You can't sleep. You can't eat. Then you have to plan the service. Um, Kath, somebody put husband died. 2022. Oh gosh. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yes. Catherine says, you guys can see the chat. I presume a lot of compound grief, and that's hard because you don't have time to recover when it's a lot of death back to back. And if you're a parent, the kids are affected. So how do you, as a mom, serve your family when you're grieving? Even, my mom, how does she take care of herself? And then I, as a daughter, worry about her, you know? Um, okay. Oh, yes. Okay. Oh, praise the Lord. Okay. Um, so yeah, let's just talk about those early days. I really wish that there was a better timeline for the service. And I would love to know if you guys agree with me, because it's like, they died. When's the service? Where is it going to be at? Are you guys going to have food? Everybody wants to know all the things. And you're like, hold on a second. Like, you're trying. I remember sitting, like, me, my mom, and my sister were sitting, and um, we're sitting at the dining table, and I am putting together the picture that we're going to share with everybody for the service. And I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, how am I making this for my dad, his birthday, September 1961, and then I'm putting, like, the day that he died. And it's like you're going on autopilot, right? You're just going through the motions. You really don't have time to process everything that's happening, because it's going so quickly, and the service needs to know this. You need to get their outfit. You need to get, what are they going to say? You need to have a timeline. And my uncle who passed away, he did actually the service. So calling him, picking songs, going through my like what songs my dad liked, my mom picking his suit. Um and we live 4 hours north from like where we really grew up in Miami. So we couldn't obviously do the service like right away. Um so I wish that would change. I wish we would have more time to like actually try to process what just happened, especially if it's unexpected. Even if you have anticipatory grief, that still sucks too, because you like know it's going to happen, and then when it happens you're in a state of shock because that person actually passed away. um so that's one thing I really wish would change. Then when my father passed away, after we had our time with him, I told my mom, I'm like, I guess we'll go to lunch. Like, what do we do after? I don't know. It felt really weird. I remember calling my cousin. We told him what happened, and my sister had to go back to her family. Um, so that was not fun. Then I think, like, also there's like blur things too. I don't know if you guys have had this experience, but there's going to be like a lot of blurry things that you don't remember. And we have to understand that your body, your brain has incurred a TBI, which I think, and I now that I've lived it, is a traumatic brain injury, right? You hear that term when somebody's had a stroke, they've had a motor vehicle accident, very impaired, but your brain is impaired. Between me, my mom, and my sister, we were like three brains into one. We couldn't remember anything. Um, I had to write so many things down when my dad was in the hospital. My sister and I are nurses, and that was a good task in and of itself. Especially my dad was very critical when he was in the hospital, and your brain doesn't work well for a very long time. I want to say I am in a spot where I'm able to I'm able to like sit down and do work and like really focus. I had a very hard time doing that early on in the months, because obviously we still have to go to work. And bereavement days, if you take bereavement days, you only get like 2 days. So then how are you supposed to go to work and then still like grieve the loss of your loved one? So that part is really sucky. I mean, I'm sure, did you guys cry at work? Like, I just need a moment. That happened to me multiple times. And at the time I was working at a surgery center with patients. So I had to text my manager. I was like, I need to step aside and just I need a moment. Thankfully everybody there was really, really good. Um oh yeah, that's true. Sherry made a good point. Yeah, during COVID, yes. So you do have like more time. So yeah, I do. That is like the one positive about COVID. You did have some time to, because people just couldn't travel at their will. Um, but that part, again, going to work, and it's not like I could take a leave of absence. I wasn't able to. Um, Another big thing too is when you have kids, and like my kids are teenagers. So, I would cry, and I would like excuse myself to go to the bathroom and just, I mean, bawl my eyes out. And I'm sure you guys have experienced this, but you've had a cry where you feel like you literally cannot breathe. Has that happened to you guys? I remember being on my bathroom floor, and I don't know if you guys have heard the song Grief, Joy, Gratitude. It's by Joe Barnes. His dad died, I think not too long before my dad did. And that song tore me to shreds. Um, it is very comforting, but it's beautiful, like that shredding part. So I remember being on the bathroom floor and I hear that song and I lost it. Like I was like like that. And I remember sitting on the floor thinking, I'm never gonna breathe normal again. Like this, I think I cried for an hour. My husband comes in, I'm holding onto his leg, and there's not much he can do. And his mom passed away a few years prior. And I just like you have to when those times come, please don't stuff it away because it's going to come back. And that's the thing that really kind of sucks about grief, to be perfectly honest, is that you're going to have great days or better days, I should say. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get smacked and you're bawling. And that can happen anywhere. It can happen in the grocery store. You're hearing music, you hear a song, you see a picture of you guys, and you just lose it. And like, embrace it. If that's one thing that grief has taught me, is about embracing those emotions. And as a nurse and as a holistic health practitioner, grief grief stays in the body. Just like when you're crying, right? Your lungs feel it. And actually, when we cry, there is a chemical, and I can't remember the name of it, but it's a real thing. And it's like a painkiller. So that's why after a really good cry, you feel better because you've been able to release that tension and that stress that body has really held onto. I promise you, it's a real thing. Look it up. Um, if if you're like, no way, she's crazy. Um, but that's another thing that it's the crying. I cried for like 40 days. Every day I cried for 40 days. I did not know that was humanly possible. Now, have any of you guys cried like that? Has your sleep been disrupted? Because that's also a real thing. Um, Appetite is gonna stink for a while because just the body is under immense stress. It is not feeling the best, and that's okay. If you are in a phase right now that you're like, I'm not hungry, don't eat. Eat when you want to. Just listen to your body. Um, oh, a celebration of life. I love that. Yeah, you can't make decisions. Oh my gosh, yes. You're like, what? I don't know what to do. And like, thank God for my husband because, so like, okay, I'm glad you brought that up. So, me being a nurse and my sister a nurse, when we get to the hospital the day that my dad died, the doctor was like explaining things to us, and basically stating that di- despite what we do, he's not going to make it. So I'm like, okay, so you're telling me, I call my husband and I'm like, I need you to come to the hospital. I need you to speak to the doctor because I want to make sure that I'm understanding everything correctly. And you can't make decisions because of the intense stress that your brain and your body has undergone. Like that, when I tell you that grief is powerful, it has the power to rule our lives. It has the power to control us in so many ways. And somebody brought up here too. I need to take a sip of water. Sorry, guys. Somebody did put that they turned to drinking, and I'm gonna touch on that. So I'm a champagne girl. I like to have a nice cocktail. Yes, I'm a holistic practitioner. I'm not perfect, okay? Um, it's not every day. However, I was finding myself, I'm like, oh God, today has sucked. I just wanted to be over. And I would pour myself a cocktail. I would feel better. Then the more I did that, not that I would get drunk or anything, it just like, I wanted my pain to be numb. I wanted to forget what happened because I didn't want to accept my new reality. I didn't want to. So I eventually was like, okay, this is not good. I can't go to alcohol because I want my feelings to go away. Like it's just not going to happen. So, I made a decision and I was like, okay, no, Christina. And I even told my husband about this. So, and I did feel a lot better talking to him about that, and that got better. Again, it didn't get like out of hand or nothing crazy, but I didn't want it to get to that point because when people are in grief, they are in pain, they can turn to alcohol, drugs, things on the internet, gambling, shopping. Oh, shopping. Okay. So shopping, I was finding myself like, oh, I want to buy this because I wanted something, I wanted to feel better. And that's another thing I picked up. I'm like, why do I want to shop so much? I'm like, oh, because I just want my pain to go away. So that was another thing I did notice in myself. And I, not that I spent a lot of money, but I was noticing a habit. And people can get into like massive debt if they are using shopping to again replace those feelings. So the reason why we choose to drink, we choose to get high, is because we don't want to face the reality of our situation. And unfortunately, does our situation go away? No, it stays the same. So at some point, we do need to deal with that. Um, and I'm glad that Catherine let go and let God. You know, we do come to a point in our relationship with God. If you're a believer and you suffered a loss, I was really mad at God. I didn't even go to church on Easter. I was like, I don't feel it. I'm going to go for a walk. And that's what I did. I didn't. I've always gone to church on Easter Sunday, and I felt like I was committing a sin by not going. I would love to know if you guys were mad at God. How did you handle that? I was upset I didn't go to church for a while. Like now I go on and off, not super consistent. Uh, I questioned his goodness. I questioned my relationship. I questioned the kind of good God that he was. My dad was a loyal servant to God. Okay. He was a deacon. He did security at the last church that he was at before he passed away. And I told him, I'm like, you can save all these evil people, but you can't save my dad. Tell me how that makes sense. That literally, it doesn't make sense to me. And I cursed at God. I had a conversation and I literally talked to him like a friend and I told him where I was at and my just like seeing God's blessings and strength over these last 10 months has really been, I can't really explain it. It's like a spiritual thing that you just kind of have to feel and have to like go on your own. Um, and even like, my mom, all of us, I think, have had, you know, maybe some anger at God. Let's see, one person says, felt a huge need for being. Yes, you do. Some people go to surrender more. I couldn't listen to worship music. Some days I could, some days I couldn't. It kind of honestly would just depend on my mood and how I really felt that day. Um, right. You don't want to talk to anybody. Oh, yes. That's real. I have my Facebook here too. So let's talk about the responses that people give you when your loved one dies. Um, there's been quite a few that I'm not the biggest fan of, and I've said them to somebody before, but now that I've lived this experience of death and loss, um, oh, they're in a better place. Okay, cool. But I want them here, like presently with me. I know they're in heaven, but I want them here. Let's see. Oh, you need to be strong. Okay, well, you're broken. You're so broken. I mean, I felt that I don't even know. You're just so numb. And again, they come from a good place, but telling me I'm strong and that like you have to be strong. Who says you have to be strong? Nobody says that. But that's where I get upset. That's where society has it wrong. That just because somebody died in our lives, why should I be strong when my world, my identity just shattered in front of my face? I'm going to be however I'm going to be right now, and then I'll figure that out later. Okay? I had a friend who lost her young husband, and she said, "Oh, yeah, no, I'm not brave. I am not brave." Like, I'm the opposite. Okay? Like, I cry every day. I'm mad. What are you going to do? Like, nobody's brave. I mean, I'd be like, listen, if this happens to you, you're not going to feel brave. I'm sorry. You're going to feel like the world has imploded. That's what you're going to feel like. Um, Other responses that I know I talked about this with like my family members. Um, oh gosh, now I'm gonna have a brain fart. Let's see. They're in a better place. We talked about that. Hold on. Let me pull it up because I know I wrote this down. See, my brain is still not all there yet. Ah, you guys understand. Oh, you shouldn't be sad. They're in peace. Oh my gosh. No, I'm going to be sad. I'm going to be sad for, you're going to be sad. I've come to the realization that you're going to be sad for the rest of your life. It's that sadness, the intensity will lessen. It won't be as intense. And they're in a better place. I think I touched on that. They're in peace. Okay, great. Well, I'm not in peace. So bye. Um, oh yes, like you will see them again. And again, this comes from so when people tell you this, just nod and say thank you so much. Right? Even though you want to tell them like, no, I don't feel peace. I'm not strong. And I don't care if I'm going to see them again. It's kind of like when you get advice as a parent, or like as soon as you're pregnant, everybody has parenting advice. Oh my God, do this. Oh my God, do that. And I'll tell people, I'm like, just nod your head and say, okay, thank you so much. Like, honestly, because you're not going to be able to sit and explain your feelings to them. Like, they're not going to get it. And that's the other issue too, is that people that haven't lost somebody, they don't understand the immense intensity that you have internally, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. Like, they're not going to get it unless it happens to them. Oh, yes. They're no longer hurting. It was God's will. Okay, I don't care about God's will. Like, he should have saved him. That's how I felt at the moment. Um, oh, somebody told my mom, "Are you going to sell your house?" What? So just because now my mom's a widow, does that automatically mean she's going to sell her house? No. Why? Why should it mean my mom? Why should we think that about a widow? Like, my mom is kicking ass and doing what she needs to do in her house. Whenever she feels that she needs to move, my mom's not a retard. She knows like what to do. She will then move away. But people have asked her that. And like in the beginning, I was worried. Are you going to be able to handle it? Now I'm really close to my mom in distance. So, we help if she needs help, but she's been able to manage on her own. Oh, okay. So this probably applies to the widows. If you lost a partner, do you see yourself dating again? People have asked my mom that. Like, my parents were married for 49 years, I think. If my mom's on here, please correct me. Regardless, they were high school sweethearts. Like, how do you, it's only been 10 months. You think what, she's gonna like date somebody? And she was with my dad like literally her whole life. So that, she didn't like that. And then they say, like, remember the memories you had, remember the good times. Like, yes, I love the memories. The memories make me happy. But like actually going on vacation with my dad would make me happier. Having family meetings with him, that would make me happy. Just calling him to like help me out here when my husband's not home, that would make me happy. Not the memories I shared. The memories, they hurt. They're really painful. I couldn't look at my dad's picture for a while. I had a picture of him on my home screen on my phone. I couldn't look at him. It was so painful and just it reminded me that he's not here. That was like a dagger in my heart. And I took him off for a while. I did feel bad about that, but I couldn't look at his picture. When I felt that I could handle that, then I added his picture back. I just want to, I'm in the chat here, so I appreciate your patience. I just want to make sure that I am reading everybody's comments. Um, oh, somebody turned to sugar for comfort. Yes, food is going to be a very comforting thing. It's just again kind of like with alcohol. You just want to be very careful that that addiction doesn't lead to like blood sugar dysfunction in the body. Because yeah, we're looking for it to numb our sadness, our sorrow. There's so much sorrow. Let's see. Yes, I do agree. If you're able to take time off work, please do that. Like if you have vacation time, you've been saving it, like this is the time you really just need to like step away and to just be with yourself, with your family. And if you have kids, like please, please, please pay attention to your children, especially if they're like high school and younger, even if they're adult kids, they're going through it. And the thing with kids is that they are not able to fully express, like us adults, especially if you have boys, like what they're actually feeling. And that's so hard because you're, as a mom, like you're in like this in your grief. You just like see your pain and you also carry your loved one's pains with you. You know, you're carrying your kids' pain with you, and that is just so, it's so draining. Oh my gosh, I remember being so tired. Like we went on a cruise in December. My dad passed away in September. We already had this booked, and towards the tail end of the cruise I caught the flu. And that happens to me when I am like super stressed out. And I was like, oh, okay, well, now I got sick. I know why, because my body is shot internally and my stress is through the roof. And I just wasn't surprised. But really, you know, give your kids a space to like, but be honest with them too. Like, tell them how you're feeling. Don't be like, oh, mom is doing good. No, I was very honest with my kids. My kids have seen me cry, and that's life. Like they're going to incur something like this, you know. So it's just really good to see that human side of being a parent, because then they'll feel comfortable, like, you know, coming to you. Hey, like I've had a really bad day today. Pay attention to their grades, pay attention to who they're with, what they're watching, get them moving. That's just going to be really helpful for them. um, Oh, yeah. With siblings, oh. So the family dynamic, when depending on who passed away, the family dynamic changes a lot, especially if it's like a mom. You know, us moms were the glue to the family. I will say we each have different grieving styles. A lot of us are outward grievers. That's like us women because we are more emotional creatures. And men or some women too will be internal grievers. So they're gonna just be quiet and kind of just stay in their corner and not really say anything. So it's gonna look like they're not sad. And you're gonna be like, well, why aren't you crying? So then we think that they're grieving wrong, but they're really grieving according to like them and how they see fit. And I've had to learn that the hard way. because I was like that with a family member. I was like, well, why aren't you doing this? And I don't understand you. What's your deal? And then I had to understand a very difficult understanding that okay, just because it's not the way I want them to be grieving doesn't mean that they're not grieving. I hope that makes sense. Um, And I mean, I would even encourage, having conversations with your siblings, kind of just checking in where you are. The other thing too is like we don't want to burden our family members with our pain because then we feel like we're gonna bring their pain back to them. And this has even happened in my core family. And I'll tell them, I'm like, we're in pain regardless. Like, our pain doesn't go away. So if we're having, like, I'll call my sister, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm really missing dad today. And we'll talk about that. And we'll just, like, kind of talk through it together. And sometimes you just need to be by yourself. The other thing, too, about, grief is you find yourself being a little bit more isolated. You don't want to be around people. You like to be home, and that's okay because being around people, I did find that I would get very overstimulated. So meaning like if it was too loud, even if my kids were loud, I'm like, guys, like I can't handle the noise because your brain, again, it has incurred a traumatic brain injury. Just because you didn't get in an accident doesn't mean your brain cannot be injured. It is. It's like I forgot what it was. It's like your brain is in ICU, and you need to give your brain to just recover really well from that. And you need you have to give yourself the amount of grace that God gives you, honestly. Because we think, oh man, by this time we think like grief has a timeline and it doesn't. There's no timeline for when you should feel better, when you should feel happy. I just encourage to like take your time, especially if you haven't really like dealt with the emotions, like sit with it. You need to let it marinate because the longer we put off dealing our emotions, the more delayed we're gonna delay our healing, basically. Um I didn't really grieve my dad because he missed my mom. Yeah. Yeah, and too, like we don't always grieve family members the same way. I think it's very dependent on the relationship that you had with that that loved one, that family member. Like my core family, the four of us were so close. So that's why this loss was so immense for me because of of the relationship I had with my dad, because of how intentional he was. And he was just always there. He was my biggest support, my biggest cheerleader, and he was just beyond amazing. So, not all losses are going to be the same weight. Not that that's bad. It just depends on the relationship that you had with that person. That doesn't mean you're a bad person either. Um, falling outs are very common, very common. Sorry. That's um that happens with medical treatment because depending on how you're thinking, and if those family members are not ready to accept that their loved one is dying, that's definitely going to be a very big divider. I always like to say, if and that's not just because they don't agree with you, it's not like a you thing. They're just projecting their feelings that are scared of losing their loved one. And that's why they don't agree. They don't want to let go. And those feelings are also valid, but it's also like coming to the realization like there's nothing to do. And that's where we were at with my dad. Me and my sister were like, okay, let's try blah blah blah, and then when they draw his labs, we'll look at his labs and see what they say. So then, sure enough, his body was it was not his body was physically gone at that time. So that is when we decided Okay. And we knew that's what he wanted too. We honored his wishes. Um and then I did not talk about guilt. Oh, okay. So guilt is really big. I had a lot of guilt. Because since my dad was in ICU, if you have a loved one in ICU, it is near impossible to sit with them, to stay overnight with them. And the night that he got intubated, I had wanted to stay, but there's nowhere to stay. Like I would literally be sleeping in a chair, and then I'm like, okay, well, if I stay here and I don't sleep, how is this going to help me to like be clear-headed? So that oh my gosh, I dealt with a lot. I'm like, I'm a nurse. How did what did I miss? I went through all of his notes, and I was like, well, why didn't they? I wanted to blame somebody. I wanted to blame the staff. Why didn't they see his complication? Like they should have known all these things, because our brain is trying to rationalize the loss that we had. Our brain is trying to make sense. And the what ifs. Oh, God. What if we did this differently? And what if we did that? And what if, I mean, and that's normal, because again, we are trying to make sense out of something that doesn't make sense to us. How is it that we have our loved one one day and then we're planning their funeral the next week? How does that happen? There's just so much confusion, there's anger, there's guilt, then denial is a big one. Like, no, this is, and that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm almost to the acceptance part, but I'm still having a little bit of a hard time with the reality that, okay, I don't have my dad anymore. So I'm slowly becoming adjusted to this new life I have, of life without him, of vacations without him. We had our first father. So my dad died September 19th last year. Then it was his birthday, like not even 2 weeks later. Then it was my mom's birthday. Then it was Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is a huge deal in our home. Then it's Christmas, then it's New Year, then it's Valentine's. So we had all the holidays back to back with him freshly passing away, and that was that was so rough. Um, let me see. Oh, dating again. Oh, I love that. Yes, all the would-haves, could-haves, should-haves. And that's kind of like, that's where really grief can really capture us. And if we let it, it can steer us like off a ledge into pain, depression, anxiety. And listen, everybody that has gone through grief, you're going to be depressed. You're going to be sad. If you're not depressed, you're not alive. Like but not to the point, like I'm saying now people can be depressed, like clinically not sleeping. They're just in a very bad, very critical mental state that they need meds to stabilize. But I'm talking like you're going to be naturally sad. You're just going to be introverted again. Like it's a process. Like grief doesn't just turn around. Like that's not how this works. And, the medical system can be like very quickly to put you on an antidepressant if you're not like truly in clinical depression. So just being mindful of that, and just be cautious, with medications. Um, why? Oh, yeah. Oh, why? Oh, man. That question. Oh, that question rips you apart. Why? I would love to know why. Maybe when I get to heaven, I'm gonna ask him, why did you take my dad? Like, we're suffering. We were hurting so bad. Um, that question is really hard. And we won't know the answer to that. However, since we are here and our loved one has passed away, we could ask God, all right, what do you have for me? Why did my dad die? What does that mean for my life? Why would you take him away? And so I went back to school for nutritional therapy. And in my practice, I was going to focus a lot on, pediatric oncology patients because that's what I did. And now I've discovered a passion for grief. Why? Because I don't know. I never, if you would have paid me $1 million, Christina, 10 months after your dad died, you're going to host a grief masterclass and you're going to talk about your experience. I'd be like, the hell I'm not. I don't think so. That's just not me. And I just seen I attend a grief share. If you guys haven't heard of grief share, it is phenomenal. It is a group that is dedicated for people that have grieved. I did bring my book up here because we have a book and we talk about anger, questions for God, grief and friendships, regrets, a lot of regrets. Oh man, that's a big question too, along with why. um our journeys change. God changes our journeys, and the path that we thought we had for our lives completely changes after grief. um yeah, we have a lot of regrets. I mean, like, oh, I wish I would have spent more time with my dad. I wish I would have done this. And now that we're here, like, let's live for our family, let's live for our life, and let's be intentional. Let's live intentionally and let's love life, because it is possible to love your life after loss. It's possible. It's not impossible. It's possible. But we have to make a conscious effort to, we have to do it intentionally. We have to consciously decide. Somebody asked a question too, finding the motivation to still take care of yourself and not stay in interrupt because of sadness. And that's really hard, especially if you have compound grief, like you've lost loved ones back to back within a year, a couple of years of each other. Motivation, it's kind of like a New Year's resolution, right? We all make resolutions, and then come February, they're gone. It's kind of like a fire. It goes and then it dims. So it's more finding, like, getting in a routine, getting consistent, just like deciding that you're going to do something today for yourself. Deciding, all right, I'm just going to go for a walk outside today. I'm going to talk to my loved one. Maybe just start there. Um, and staying in a rut can be a little bit dangerous, because then that can just, again, prolong your grief and prolong your sadness. So I personally, I didn't go to the gym for a while, just because of, again, feeling my body. I just went for walks. So going to the beach, taking a walk is really nice. If you have a friend that's really been there for you, they understand you, I would definitely reach out to them, and speak to them. Being around somebody that you don't need to explain yourself to, somebody that can just give you space and say, I got it, just cry. I mean, thank God I have some people like that in my life, where I'm like, I just need to come here and bawl my eyes out. We need those people, because it's too tiring to explain all the time, like, what's going on. And at the end of the day, people, again, that aren't grieving, they're not going to understand. So still taking care of yourself is going to be helpful, because that's how your brain is going to start to feel better. So trying to sleep, and even if you have to take naps during the day, I encourage you to do it, especially if you're not sleeping really well. Nutrition is a huge component. Like, I was still eating really well. I eat very clean, very big on ingredients. So that's something that I was really paying attention to. I do supplements. So I was, again, being intentional, because I knew I was going to need that. And your body is a machine, so if we feed it well, we try to sleep well. And again, the biggest thing too is, don't tuck away your tears, don't tuck away your anger. Like, if you're married, speak to your spouse about how you're feeling. Like, that needs to come out, because if it stays in, it's going to manifest disease, inflammation. It's just going to grief does store in parts of our body, like our lungs store grief, the kidneys, I think, is anger. So different parts of our different organs hold emotions. So we really want to be careful, especially if you're dealing with some health issues right now. I do really encourage you to really just be mindful of that. Um, oh, good, you're in Grief Share. Yeah, so Grief Share it's nationwide. You can find it. I'm actually gonna search for it real quick. You can find it anywhere, and they are normally held in churches. It is biblically based, just to let you guys know, but it's phenomenal. I mean, it's really helped me in my healing journey. Like, there's a lot of things that I keep in my toolbox. I'm gonna put it here in the chat, so you guys can look at the website and check it out. Grief share is something that I do. I have done Reiki sessions where it's like energy work. I've gotten massages because of the stress in my neck. I probably need another one. Um, Other things that you can do, going for a walk. Somebody said gets in her garden, helps to take her mind off of it, or even like if you have the stamina, like even doing an activity you did with your loved one. I do talk to my dad a lot, as well, during the day. And remember, like I had a mentor tell me that because I had a really hard time, um, like letting him go, in the sense that if I let my dad go, if I was at peace with it, I felt like I was losing him, and I was trying so hard to hold on to something that wasn't there. But he told me, he's like, okay, do you believe in God? And I said, yes. He goes, have you seen God? I said, no. He goes, okay, so your dad's in heaven. I said, yes. He goes, all right, so he's with you, just like God is with us, like their spirit and their soul. And I have felt my dad, okay, like I'm a believer in that they communicate to you. I've experienced it. My mom's experienced it. Other people have. I just ask you to be like receptive to that, um and talk to them. Like, even if, who cares if somebody thinks you're crazy? It's okay. Like, you're trying to make sense of something that doesn't make sense. And yes, you're going to feel like you're going crazy. I felt like I was losing my mind. I was like, what? And I just couldn't remember stuff, and I would forget things, and that's okay. It's okay to feel like that. You're like, you've just undergone a massive injury. Like, it's fine. Oh, yes. Okay. So, grief yoga. Is anybody here from Palm Coast? Um, I have a friend. So, grief yoga is a real thing. Um, my mom and I went, when did we go? I don't know. But I invited a friend of mine. Her mom passed away a long time ago. So the three of us went, and it was so impactful. You don't talk, you move your body, and that's what I really love, because if you're not in a space to talk, um, that's okay. You're just not ready yet, and that's fine. You're gonna move at your own pace. I'm gonna share the link here because a dear friend of mine who's amazing, Lindsay, love you. She's the one that actually did a class, and like we connected really well. Her dad passed away, and that's how she got into grief yoga. So let me paste it here. But if you're in the Palm Coast area, she is having a class. It's Saturday, August 15th from 5:30 to 7. Oh my gosh, you move, you dance. She has these like meditations. It's beautiful. It is so powerful. It's so powerful. So that's really good. Oh my gosh. So look, see, things can happen in grief. Catherine got her bachelor's degree and is on her way to her MBA. Yay! Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Oh, I can, yes, okay. That's so exciting. And oh, look at Harvey, such a brat. And I swear my dad's been in Harvey. Like, no joke. Oh my gosh. That dog, he's an angel. I swear. I swear, I swear he's an angel. And I thank God for that dog every day. I'm hoping to start. Oh, a custard company. Yes. You see, like, there's loving life after loss. It is so possible. I had started my business. So my practice is Cheers to Health, and I started my business kind of like part-time, and then I honestly I was gonna stop my business. I was very overwhelmed, and I was like, I don't think I could do this. I don't think that I could continue. I almost like gave myself a break. But um but I didn't. I had a really good support system, and I was like, "Oh, I'll just go back to my nursing job." But that's not what God had in store for me. He wanted something more, and I'm grateful that I didn't stop, because now my mission is so much bigger. My mission is to get people to love life after loss and form community. Like community is another really big thing to have in your corner when you're going through the loss. That's why Grief Share is such a great group, because like in the Grief Share, they go out to dinner. I mean, they go dancing. They just do like all these fun things. So it's a definitely possible. So my dad's 1 year anniversary is coming up in September. And I would love to know what you guys do for, how do you celebrate their death anniversary? I have a couple of ideas. Like, we like a restaurant that we haven't been to in a while, so I think we might go to that. Um, I would love to know what you guys do, and um, you know, gosh, sometimes you're just like at a loss for words, like what to tell people too, you know. And I mean, another thing, like if you have a family member going through loss, it's just you have no words. And your friends are going to tell you, I have no words. And you're going to say, I know, I don't either. I don't know what to say. And it's okay to sit there in silence. Even like meditation, like I meditate every day. That's really helped me like recenter myself and just try to find a balance and to just silence all the noise around me. And like today was a rough day. I cried a lot before I got on this call. Oh, I always make his favorite meal for dinner. Oh, I like that. Okay, that's fun. um I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything in the chat. um oh, Grief Share is, before I forget, Grief Share is free. I'm pretty sure it's free. I don't remember paying. You might just have to pay for the workbook, but it's like 13 weeks long. It's really good. Um, so I feel like we covered, the questions, like what not to say, like the things that get you mad. And just remember, like, grief does affect you mentally. Um, I know we talked about guilt. The guilt is normal. The numbness is normal, that nothing's going to bother you. Like, I literally felt like I was just existing. And, okay, cool. I mean, you're just in this massive fog. But I would say over time, the fog does start to lift, but it takes a long time. Like, I'm 10 months in, and now I finally feel like I'm a little bit clear headed. Oh my gosh, I didn't talk about this. So, fear that somebody else is going to die. I had this. My husband does travel for work, and I found myself getting very anxious when he traveled. And I was like, oh my God, like, what if I get a call and he dies and then I have to drive all the way here? Like, what am I going to do with the animals? And my brain just went. And I told him that, and I started crying. And I really had that fear that something else was going to happen, that somebody else was going to die. If you have kids, they are going to feel like that too, because my children have told me that. So acknowledge, but like, I had that fear and I acknowledged it. I didn't like put it away, because I didn't want that fear to, I didn't want to freak out every time, because I knew that it would cause me stress, and I'm already stressed enough. I didn't want to be stressed any more than I already am. So thankfully, like, I was able to work through that, and I feel so much better about that. So I did forget to talk about that. Um but it's a natural fear. I mean, we don't want our loved ones to die, but it's also a really hard thing to accept that we're all gonna die. We're all gonna experience it at some point. Um, a loss of identity. That's a big one. I didn't touch on that. When my dad died, I felt like a lost little girl waiting for somebody to like come and claim me. I felt abandoned. I felt like nobody was there to protect me. Like, yes, my husband is great. He's a protector, but there's nobody like your parent, because your parent protects you from things. They raised you, they shelter you, they always want the best for you. And I struggled with that. I know I'm not the same person that I was. And I had like, so we went on vacation for like during Father's Day, and I bought my dad a card, and I read it to him on Father's Day, and I cried, and I had to. I'm like coming to the exception, like, okay, this is. I had to put away, Christina. You don't have the life that you had with him. The life that you had with your family, with your dad in it, that life doesn't exist. You have now a new life, and it's now finding, who am I? Like, what is my purpose? And you know you kind of get jealous with your friends that they have their husband or they have their wife or they have their dad or their mom. You're like, man, I wish I had that. Like, do you know how lucky you are to have that person still with you? I mean, I would give anything like just to have the family meeting with my dad, but I'm that's not going to happen. So the loss of identity is that takes a long time. I will say, be honest, that takes a long time to figure out, and I'm still figuring it out. Like I feel a bit better in my identity, and I had to grieve the life that we had together. I had to grieve, not having that relationship here physically, but now I have a different relationship. I have a spiritual relationship with my dad because he's in heaven, and now I talk with him and ask him for guidance on certain things I normally would. Um, and the loss of identity, it's so hard. It really is hard. But just again, giving like that immense grace to yourself as you figure out, now what am I going to do? I don't know what you're going to do now, but it's kind of just, you need to give yourself time to slowly get there and to slowly figure it out. um oh my goodness. I'm surprised I didn't cry. Wow, that was gonna cry. I cried a lot before here. Let's see. Uh, do you feel like I need to discuss anything else? I think we all are going to normalize grief, right? We all need to, grief is okay. Don't stuff your feelings because that's what society tells us to do. Oh, don't be sad, be happy. No, no, not yet. I'll get there, but like don't let anybody rush you for grief. Like do it on your own timeline, but there's a difference between letting your pain and your suffering dictate your life. But there's also a fine line too of realizing that, okay, I'm in pain, but I'm going to learn how to live with it. And then it's going to slowly get better with time. That's what I've noticed. Like, I know I'm going to carry the grief with me and the pain of missing my dad every day, but it's not like, oh, it's not as heavy as it was in the beginning. So that, and if you're in a rut, again, of feeling sadness, it's really kind of just being intentional and taking that day and waking up and say, like, okay, I'm alive today. How can I serve myself today? How can I serve my body today to like move? And the way that we talk to ourselves too, it really has a profound impact on the cells, because when a person dies, our cells change. Like we physiologically change after grief. We're literally not the same. But it's up to us if we're going to stay in that state of pain, sadness, or are we going to then transition to gratitude, joy, life, love. So we all have a choice in grief. I hope that we all continue to choose to God has given us life, right? We're still here. So let's continue to make an impact on the people that we come in contact with, the people that we love on. If you have a business, the clients, patients that you love on, and really living for today, because we know that you're not guaranteed tomorrow. I mean, that's just living proof right there. Let's see. And grief, I didn't touch on this. Grief can also be very lonely, even if you have family with you. That's just the nature of the beast. I have a great husband, I have an amazing mom and sister, but you're in your own journey. Like my mom's in her own journey, so is my sister, and so am I. And sometimes we just need to be by ourselves, and that's okay. Don't be shy to tell your family you need some space. Your friends, the same thing. You don't need to explain yourselves to them. Just be like, I need some time. I'm good, and just be. So if you just need to be home, like that's cool. Go outside, put your feet in the grass, ground. Yes, grounding is amazing. It's free. Do that too. Don't feel like you owe like anybody this massive explanation, because at the end of the day, they're not going to understand you unless they're actually in it with you. So yeah, it can be very lonely. It's lonely and it's not lonely, if that makes sense. I'm sure you guys understand what I'm saying by what I'm saying. Let me see. I'm just going through here because I know some people like put some stuff. All right. Do you guys feel like I covered enough? Let me go to the chat real quick. Oh, well, I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Thank you for sticking around for an hour. I would love to know what's been your biggest takeaway. Leave a comment. I pray that you gained some clarity and know that grief is normal, your anger is normal, your feelings of delusion are normal, that you're crazy is normal, and that's all normal. If you guys are local to Flagler County, my friend Lindsay and I, the one that's a grief yoga instructor, we are planning a grief retreat here in Flagler County. To my knowledge, I don't think there's ever been one. I felt really called to put one on just because there's so many people suffering in grief, and it is difficult to move on. It is difficult, and nobody has space for people, right? Because the pain of grief is immense. It's heavy. It's suffocating too. So I'm going to be releasing more information on our grief retreat that's going to be here in Flagler County. It's going to be an entire day. And if you know me, I am a planner. I've thought this through. We have put our brains together, and we'll be releasing some information. So I hope you guys sign up, so that ways we can help each other heal. We can give a space that you're seen and heard and loved, and that we together we can create a world where grief is accepted, you don't feel bad, and a place where as human beings that we can love life after loss. I'm gonna put my so my Facebook, this is where you can follow me. My Facebook is very simple. It's just my first and last name. And then I have Instagram. And if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. I'm actually going to be launching hold on. I don't want to, where's Ina's? I do share a lot on my Instagram page. Let me put on, if you guys want to message me about anything grief related, health related, just to say hi. If you need a friend to talk to, I am here. What was I saying? Oh my gosh. Oh yes, I'm going to be starting a podcast. That God has been calling me to do that. It's going to be called the Loving Life and Loss Podcast. So, Loving Life is my dad. On the back of this is my dad's first initial and last name. So, I'm going to be talking a lot about grief, um, health, menopause, perimenopause, supplements. It's kind of be like an all-encompassing. But again, I really want to make a dent in this grief world, this space that is so beautiful. It's very tender. Um, for those of you that have been here, you've been here for over an hour. Um, your heart is tender. Your soul is probably still very tender. I know mine's is. Uh, and it's going to be like that for a while. So I just want to give you guys more of a space where somebody talks about it. And if you guys have anything that you want me to talk about, please let me know. As you can see, I'm an open book. I am a pretty honest person. I'm like that friend that'll tell you have like a booger in your nose. So that's me. And oh yeah, this is a charm that my dad had on his chain. So I have that with me. Hi, Harvey. Let me see. Yes, so grief retreat, look out for that. I will make probably like a Facebook event about that. And then me and Lindsay will be coming together with a flyer. Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Oh, I'm so happy. I do these master classes once a month. What is and if you guys, if there's a topic that you want to know about, like I said, let me know. I really don't mind talking about anything. Oh yeah, next month is going to be about over-the-counter meds and why they might be causing you more harm than good. We got to pay attention to ingredients. But even then, does anybody have any questions? Let's. I have time, so let me know if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer that for you. Doo-doo-doo. All right, thank you. Yes, if you guys have to go, like it's totally fine. But I thank you for being here. Thank you for sticking on. Oh, we are excited for the trade. Yes, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be a whole day. So it's gonna be a lot of fun. There will be a price to that, so there will be a fee for that. Like I said, with our experience, it's just gonna be curated like really nicely. So it's just gonna be really beautiful. Let's see. You talked about grief share. I just want to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. Oh, journaling. I forgot to talk about that. You can start a journal to write down your thoughts. You can write letters to your loved one. I know that's been really helpful for some people. So like in grief, kind of just finding what works for you. It's kind of like when you change your diet, you kind of just kind of find out what works for you and what doesn't. And please take care of yourself. Go get a massage, go get a manicure, go get your hair blown out. If you're a guy, go to the gym, go on a date with your wife. Like maybe buy like a cute outfit, take yourself on a date. Like love on yourself. Don't abandon yourself because you feel abandoned. Um, if you haven't showered, go take a shower. But no, just kidding. But I just really thank you guys for being here. Seriously, do you guys have any questions? No questions? Mm. All right. Well, if nobody has any questions, for those, if you guys hopped on late or whatever, so all of my lives, they're on my channel. So if you want to rewatch this, you can definitely rewatch it. Let me see what else. Yeah, everything will save. I think it saves. It'll be up by tomorrow, if not like later today. But if, let me just go through the chat really quickly. Make sure I didn't miss anything. I think I got everything. I hope you guys stay wealthy, stay healthy, well, that you guys continue to honor your loved ones and they are never forgotten. Even if you're happy in life, if you find love again, nothing in this world is ever going to replace that. So just be assured of that. You're always carrying them with you. All right. All right, guys. Thank you. Bye.